Hey, I'm Johnny, and this is my brother Matt, and we're from Brothers Make. We are a plastic recycling company, I guess we'd say. We have two areas of our business. So we've got what started off as the sort of way we started off the whole business was just through YouTube. So probably the slightly bigger half of our business is content, and the other half is manufacturing. So touching on the content side first, we started out on YouTube about 5 years ago now. It kind of started off as an excuse. It was just an excuse to hang out more, really. We used to like make things in our workshop quite a lot. Matt's background is in teaching, mine was in marketing and sort of the digital side of things. So we thought, if we're making stuff anyway, why don't we film it and put those videos online just for our mum and dad to watch. Our mum is still our most loyal viewer to this day, but luckily we've got a decent following, more than we ever expected anyway now at this point. And most of it started off as sort of general DIY, but over time we sort of slowly found a niche which is more around sort of sustainable DIY with a particular focus on plastic recycling. I'll let Matt go into how we sort of stumbled across that first. But yeah, it started off working on a bit of everything, which was, woodworking, metalworking, plastic. I think that covers most of it, really.
Yeah, a bit of everything.
But yeah, and then over time we sort of found this niche. So now, that was about 5 years ago, and then about 18 months ago we started the manufacturing side of the business as well. So we've got a lot of sort of interest in our recycled plastic work we do. So we started actually manufacturing a line of recycled plastic products. So we collect and source waste plastic. We clean it in our workshop. We shred it down. We sort of sort it into types and colours, and then we inject it into brand new products. So we're always sort of coming up with new ideas for new products, and they're sold both directly to consumers through things like Etsy and our website, but we also do larger sort of wholesale manufacturing as well, and that's working with businesses for whether it's a big run of. It's usually smaller things, so it's things like coasters, combs, plant pots, that kind of stuff. But we can take you through a little bit more of that in a minute. But we've got a team of 4 in our workshop. We're based on the south coast of England in Bournemouth, so it's myself and my brother Matt, and we do all the content stuff. And then we've got George and Hannah who work with us as well, and they look after more the manufacturing side of things. So we all do a bit of everything, but that's pretty much how it's split.
So Johnny mentioned about our recycled plastic and how we kind of transitioned into doing that more so than anything else. We still kind of occasionally do some other types of traditional woodworking or metalworking, but we do have more of a focus around anything sustainable. And this kind of came about because when I was teaching, like Johnny mentioned, initially I was just kind of a bit sick of how much plastic schools waste, and we were laser cutting acrylic every single day, and it's just all of this stuff goes to waste. There's no real recyclable option for a lot of those plastics, and it's obviously great for teaching the kids how to do stuff, but not great in terms of a sustainable end use for the plastic and where it eventually goes. If the kids don't take the products home at the end of the day, they just tend to get chucked, or there's not really a good easy recyclable option. So yeah, I was kind of doing some research around my teaching back then. I was teaching full time, and for a couple of schools I was at, I did a little bit of testing here and there and just made a few things. The first thing I ever actually made was a mallet, which is still our favourite recycled plastic mallet that we have.
It's a good mallet.
It's a very good mallet. And after that I was kind of hooked, just kind of playing around with it. We were playing around in the garage doing a few things. This was before YouTube. And then when I got to a particular school I was working at, I had a small group of sixth form students, and I said, what do you want to make? We had a bit of free time at the end of our project, and they said, we really want to make some pens. I'd never made a pen before. They said, why don't we make pens out of recycled plastic? So I pretended to know how to do it and said, sure, let's do it. And we made some pens, and they absolutely loved it. We bought some fairly cheap kits, made some blanks out of bottle tops and shampoo bottles, and they loved it. And then I came home, and Johnny actually said, oh, we should make a YouTube video about that. And I said, oh, I'm a terrible pen turner. I don't know how to make a pen really. So teaching other people how to do it was kind of beyond my thought of what we should be doing. But we tried it and we made a video. It was actually our first kind of, we called it our ultimate guide to recycling, didn't we? Yeah. It was the introduction of how you can take things like bottle tops and bits of waste plastic and then melt them into blanks for turning. And then at the end of the video we made a pen kind of like as a, here's what you could do with that skill. And that video completely blew up. We had 6,000 subscribers, I think.
When we before we uploaded it,
it was just after Christmas. It was like the 28th of December.
Yeah.
And then by mid-January, we were on 60,000 subscribers. Yeah. So we tenfold, and the response to that video was really, really good. And then we thought, I tell you what, there might be something in this. So let's kind of explore a little bit more. And that's kind of really where the plastic thing was born. And this was before we ever even had a panini press. So we never even got our first panini press, which is kind of the thing that people tend to know us for, is like the guys who melt plastic in a sandwich press. So it kind of went from there, and then after that we kind of grew and it became what it is now.
Yeah, it definitely feels, well, when it sort of came to deciding on what which way our content would go, it felt like it was definitely, there's loads of makers out there that are doing, tons of amazing things, much better than what we make. So we thought it's nice to sort of find our own niche, and it felt quite nice to not only be making, which is something we like to, love to do. It's nice to, do something more like wholesome and something that's, teaching people, how to make a difference and things like that. So one of the nice bits of it is the fact that we're literally taking waste plastic out of out of the environment, or something, stopping some plastic potentially going to landfill or into the ocean, things like that, and we can actually take it and make it into something new. So we've got quite a few different sort of networks set up now that we can actually source a lot of our plastic from. So we do some beach cleans. We've got some videos where we've done sort of beach cleans and made the project on the beach using solar power, and that's always really good fun. But because we're down on the coast, but we also we work with a lot of sort of communities and businesses. So places like companies that have a lot of single-use plastic. So places like salons, coffee shops, some universities, like big places that have a lot of going through a lot of cleaning products. That's a really good source of plastic. And schools as well. Matt used to be obviously a teacher, so that really helps. You used to set up your bottle top challenge, didn't you?
Yeah, we had a little club, and the kids would bring their bottle tops, and the tutor group that would collect the most, we would give them prizes made of the stuff that we make. So the kids, they get into it really easily, and it was a nice kind of circular thing where they got something back for it.
Yeah, so it's certainly there's absolutely loads of plastic out there to be used, so we have absolutely no worries that at some point we're going to run out of plastic. I mean, if we ever get to a point that we run out of plastic and we can't make videos anymore, that's a lovely problem to have. So,
mission complete.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing at all, really.
So I mentioned the panini press. After that first video, we were melting everything in an oven. I actually had an old oven at the school that I was teaching at the time. And that's how we melted plastic, melted it on a little baking tray or on a bit of greaseproof paper, transferred it to a little wooden mould, and then squished it into a little square blank, and then turned it on the lathe. But we kind of found we were actually making another project, which I'm actually looking at right now. It was that shelf, wasn't it? We were buying that dictionary. It was a shelf. It was a hidden shelf. I don't know if you've seen those, like the movies where you move a book and then the thing opens. Well, this is a shelf where you move a dictionary and it drops down, and it's a hidden compartment.
We'll pop a little clip on screen now.
Yeah, it's we made it for a sponsor of ours called Triton Tools. We make videos for them, and that was just one of the projects we made. But we were in the charity shop looking for a chunky book that could be used for this mechanism. And we bought it. We'd already bought this book, and there was and we were kind of on the way out, and I saw this sandwich press, and it was completely brand new. It was obviously just nobody unwanted. It was £3, and I said, "Should we get it?" And annoyingly, there was a £5 minimum spend, wasn't there? So we had to buy a dictionary and some other silly things. Yeah, and then we couldn't buy this £3 press unless we bought another couple of books or something. Anyway, so we finally bought this press, and when we come home, we instantly realised that this was the most a tenfold way quicker than the oven of melting plastic. It was direct heat contact. It had flat plates as well. It was the Breville press, if you're interested, which is the only manufacturer of sandwich presses that have flat plates instead of the classic like George Foreman grills.
We're looking for sponsorships if anyone has a contact.
If anyone knows Breville, yeah, hook us up. But anyway, it just happened to be, and it kind of, it's one of those things, the stars align, and we picked this up, and then now we've got about 4 of them. At the school I was at, they bought about 6, and we have schools contacting us, being like, what's the make and model of that one you've got? So yeah, it was a very kind of nice chance happening, really. But from that one panini press, we've kind of grown our entire channel. The first maybe 10 recycled plastic videos were all used on that one panini press. We eventually made our own sheet press, or kind of like it was actually a book press design that we turned into a sheet press. We made our own using trampoline springs. Got a video on that one as well. And we slowly grew, and as Johnny mentioned earlier, we kind of brought in the manufacturing side of things, and we invested in injection molding, like all hand power, so small wall-mounted machines. We've got a shredder now to shred our plastic into kind of uniform sized flakes. We've got an extruder where we can make big things, like we made a bench, and we've made an old pallet, haven't we? Various old things from like a larger scale items. And now we've most recently we actually just bought our second sheet press. So our first one does 60 by 60 centimeter sheets, and we've just bought one that can do 1 meter by 1 meter. So it's like we started very small with this little £3 thing, and that's kind of grown into this kind of workshop full of awesome tools that we've got to use, plus all of the CNC equipment that we've got. We've got a water jet cutter, we've got loads of awesome stuff that we can use, not only for our videos, but also for our products.
Yeah, and what really works well for us, I think the nice thing about the fact that we've got 2 halves of the business is that we can use YouTube first and foremost as a sort of, well, not primarily, but it works really nicely as like a testing ground for then what feeds into our production side of things. So often we have done videos on just a vague idea we've had of, I'm just trying to think of an example, a coffee caddy. So we had an idea of, we used to, I go and get a lot of coffees, and they always give you these little sleeves to carry your cups back. So we were like, oh, why don't we make that out of bottle tops? We thought it was quite a nice story in that coffee shops use all these bottle tops, then we could use them to recycle it into a product to get rid of something that's single use. So lovely idea. But that worked well, so we did a video on that, and that hit, I think it was like over 500,000 views, so it did well. And then off the back of that, we then designed up a sort of a CAD drawing of how it could work, and then we got an actual aluminium mould of it made, and then that was a product that then we started producing and selling on our website and things like that. So it works really nice as a testing ground, because on the flip side of that, we also did a video on a wine carrier. I don't know if you've seen them, they're the things that kind of go over the neck of a bottle, and it has like 2 little hooks that you can hang glasses on. That video flopped. No one was interested in that.
It might have sold all right.
Might have sold all right, yeah. I'm sure. So, but we use it as a way to gauge. It's not that we won't make it into a product now, but we've put that a little bit on the back burner because we have other products that are gaining more interest. Yeah. But it's good to have that that option to sort of test things out, and that's I'm trying to think of the other ones we've made on. That's the other thing. So as well, we've done it. It's not just for products as well. For a lot of our YouTube videos are just sort of, hey, here's how we made this kind of cool looking thing. We made this sign to hang on the front of our workshop, and we trying to work out whether it was possible to fuse 2 colour blocks of plastic together, basically. So we wanted to make a sign on our CNC that it was a blue sheet with a green sheet melted on top of it, and then we'd cut out, it looked like it was into a circle, so like the planet, and then you'd cut away the sort of green to reveal the blue below, so it sort of made this sort of 2...
Like a 3D effect, wasn't it?
Yeah, of the planet. And then that's just it's not it's not something we're looking to sell by any means, because it took us a very long time to try and do.
Unless you want to buy it for £400.
Yeah, that's very true. So yeah, it's nice to have the option there just to make things that look cool. We've got other ideas. We did we've done this geometric table as well, where we used the CNC to cut out. We used a sort of sheet of ply, part of a sheet of ply to cut out all these different shapes, and then on our Wazer, we cut out all these different, a little bit like a stained glass window effect. We cut out these different colours of some plastic sheets that we melted down from old DVD cases. And it's just things like that are sort of just, a way that you can use tools in an interesting way to make a fun video. Really, it's not something we're looking to produce. And sometimes people will say like, oh yeah, these will cost. If you're actually trying to sell these, it'll cost so much. It's not feasible, but on YouTube, it doesn't have to be a feasible.
We're just trying to showcase what can be done, and it's not always about like making something profitable. It's about showcasing the possibilities. And then a lot of the times, like we've done videos where we've ironed plastic bags into little, and we made like wallets out of them, and then the amount of Instagram photos people have sent us being like, oh, we made the exact same thing you did in their own colours. And it's just like an idea that someone takes and goes off with it. And yeah, we've had people buy a panini press and start a business from it, like using the exact method that we have. So it's that kind of thing that we're interested in. Like, we're not always, of course we sell products, and it's a big part of our business now, but not every video that we do is designed to be a product. It's designed to kind of inspire people to maybe have a think about what they could do, or inspire them to do something themselves as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I do my bit.
Go for it.
I jumped in on yours there.
No, it's lovely to have you.
So we should probably mention Vectric, because obviously this is why we're all here. But yeah, we use Vectric for loads of different things. We've mentioned our CNC. We've mentioned the way, like, we've got a lot of CAD operated machinery, and Wazer's great for that. We've also got a lot of non-CAD operated, not just machinery, but like other things that we use it for. So when we're submitting drawings to a mold designer for a new design mold. So when we first did our comb design, for example, for our new combs, we on here, always in my pocket. We designed that on Vectric Aspire. We sent that to them, and then they turned it into like a 3D mold. So it's good for us to get our ideas down, rather than just like sketching on a bit of paper and scanning it. Like, it's actually a digital idea with information sent to a designer who can turn that into a product for us. But on a day-to-day, we've got a number of machines that all are powered basically by Vectric. So the first one I would say we had was our CNC. We've got a Stepcraft D840 milling machine, and we work with Stepcraft. We produced a series of videos for them to kind of showcase their machine at the same time as showcasing Vectric, and Vectric was used for that, and that was the one we did the Planet Earth sign on. We did all the toolpaths using Aspire. The wine carrier was all that very popular video was all done through.
If you guys can all watch it, you've already tripled the views.
That's true, actually. Triple the views. So yeah, the way Vectric is very powerful in terms of what we can do, because you've obviously can set it for different materials and stuff, but we've had to learn a lot about plastic, how the swarf comes off the plastic, the feed rates, the speed rates, and cutting all of those. So that's been really important, and Vectric's been really helpful for us in terms of that. We've recently actually had a laser engraver module shipped over from Stepcraft, and we've put that onto our trying to think what it's called, our gantry, and then we can now use Vectric to power our laser engraver. So we do the CAD designs, we have to put it in another program to turn it into the right code for the laser, but Vectric is what we do all of the CAD in, and we actually, all of our sunglasses, which I can't see anywhere, here we are, our new range of sunglasses that we launched a couple of months ago, last month. We did all of the cases that we bought. We bought the cases in, and then we personalised them with the laser engraver module. So that was all done through Vectric and our CNC software. And then the other big one is the Wazer, which is our water jet cutter. And we do, again, all of our CNC, our CAD work is through Aspire. And then we upload that into WAM, which is the software Wazer produces to turn it into G-code for that machine. So yeah, Vectric is opened up a lot of possibilities for us. We've done a lot of projects without a CNC, and because we have always been like a DIY YouTube channel, we've always liked showing the DIY option. So a lot of our videos will be, here's an option of how you can do it by hand, but here's an option of how you can do it if you're looking to turn this into products and things like that.
Yeah, it's crazy helpful when it comes to things like prototyping as well, just because like the nature of how we do things. We work with a client that comes with an idea for something, and they really like it, and then they want to see it before they invest a couple of grand in a proper mold. They might want to see a version of it. So now we have the capabilities in house that we can make simpler molds or flat molds. Yeah. I mean, we could make even complicated molds. We just don't know how to do it yet. But we actually have all those abilities in house now that you can either prototype something or do the whole fully fledged project just off the back of what we're using.
We're doing a video. We're shooting actually at the same time as this video. We're shooting a video about combs. So we're actually doing a YouTube video on the story of our combs and how we've got from like the first ones we ever made to these ones which we sell and we're super proud of, because these are like, we feel like really, really high quality combs. So we're showing, like I mentioned, we're showing the DIY, how you can do it by squishing it in a sandwich press, making a flat sheet with, literally by putting a brick on top of it, and then turning that into a sheet and then hand cutting a comb out using a template which we made using Vectric. The next option would be like, how could you slightly more automate that? So we used the Wazer to cut out a plate, like a steel 3mm aluminium plate, which we clamp between two injection plates, inject some plastic through it, and then you get a couple of combs. And this is kind of like batch production. You can like repeat this.
Yeah, like 2D combs. But
yeah, they're a flat comb, but it's actually a repeatable product, and you're not hand cutting every single one. And then obviously we've gone and we bought a lovely high quality finished aluminium mould, fully polished with all the engraving on it and everything like that. And these are the ones where, but we never would have jumped to this first. We obviously did all the proof of concepts, and Vectric helped us do those proof of concepts with all the tools that we have in the workshop.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to invest in doing something like that without having, we sold our ones that we could make ourselves for the first year and a half.
And they were so popular.
It's only when okay, fine, we've got 12 months of sales data now to know that that's actually worth selling, then you'll invest in the nicer mould. And,
absolutely.
In a year and a half time, if it still keeps going well, we'll probably get a mould that can do more of them and things like that. So there's just ways of,
It gives you like a stepping stone instead of jumping into a couple of grand on a mould like this, which is fantastic now. We've done products before where we haven't had that testing, and we've jumped in and we've bought the mould, and then it hasn't sold in the way we thought, and then it's like, well, okay, now we're struggling to make the money back just on the cost of the mould. Whereas something like this, we know that it sells because we prototyped it first, and it worked really well that way.
I suppose that sort of ties in nicely into sort of ending it as the sort of, it's for us, everything is boiled down to just scaling and sort of starting slow. So whether you're, for us, when you're looking to start a YouTube channel, whether you're looking to start a business, whether you're looking just to make something, whatever it is, it's the main takeout we've had is just start small and then grow within our own means. That's what's worked for us. Again, it works differently for everyone. Some people, like we've recently we've gone full time with Brothers Make, so it was within the last sort of 6 months, just over. But I think if we were going full time from our jobs, just saying, right, we are now quitting our jobs, now we're going to go start a YouTube channel, it'd be a bit like, we're having pot noodles for a while. But because still do to be fair. But because it wasn't that I'm gonna stop my main job and then start this new idea we've got. We had this idea 5 years ago, and we thought, okay, well, we'll spend one evening a week on it, and then it starts to get a little bit of traction. So then we managed to go down to 4 days a week with our day jobs, and we did one long day on it a week. We did all our whole Mondays doing it, and then it's just slowly scaled up. And then once it sort of that grew to a big enough point, it meant, okay, well, let's do this full time. And then similarly with like the tools and the things we use. So we started off with our little theme. I'll put a picture up of this panini press because it's our favourite thing. But it starts off with just our tiny little panini press, and then by the end of it, or halfway through, you're starting to get, we've got a t-shirt press, or we get an extra 2 panini presses.
That was a big change actually. 1 to 2 panini presses.
It's crazy.
It felt so quick. It felt like we were absolutely nailing it.
And now we've got.
We had to buy that one new though, the second one, which is that hurt.
We searched a few charity shops as well, but then now but with that sort of scalability model, I suppose, for want of a better word, in mind, it's now scaled at a really nice sort of manageable rate for us, because it's not we're growing within our own means. Now we've got a workshop full of all these tools, and we're fully batching out a lot of these products and making cool videos, and just about getting away with doing it full time. So
we get a lot of comments. Being on YouTube, obviously you open yourselves up to criticism, but we get a lot of comments saying, oh, if I had £40,000 worth of tools, I could make that as well. And it's like, yeah, you could, but realistically, nobody goes out and spends £40,000 of tools. I've been collecting tools since, I think my 15th birthday was my first. I asked for a sander and a drill.
I remember that.
Yeah, and he was like, "What? Why?" And I'm 35 now, so 20 years. And some of those tools, like before we had some of the tools we have now, we had all second-hand tools. We bought everything, or we borrowed from friends and family. Old tools that we found, or we restored from car boot sales. We never really bought anything new. Obviously now we've got YouTube, we have a lot of opportunities and companies like working with us, and they give us tools for
It's the only reason we get new things. Still,
yeah, we never buy them.
Yeah, it'd be second hand if we were.
So yeah, so you don't need. A lot of people get very intimidated seeing like this workshop full of tools that we've built, but we've been building this literally for 20 years. More specifically, this one for the last couple of years. But you don't have to spend that much money straight away. You can start with literally a panini press and go from there.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, thank you very much. I think that's everything. Is that everything from your side?
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you very much. Yeah, hopefully there's something in that if you fancy giving it a go. I mean, if you want to chat to us, we're always here. You find us first. I suppose you can find us on YouTube. Is probably our main platform. Brothers Make. But if you have any questions, we're on Instagram. Our website's brothersmake.com. Fire us an email. hello@brothersmake.com. All the classics. You can generally find us. But if you don't have any questions, just give us a shout. Otherwise, have a lovely rest of your day, and thank you for listening to us waffle on.
And thanks, Vectric, for having us.
Thank you very much, Vectric.
See you later.